Yep. No. Yeah, let's see if it sounds right. It looks good. Yep. All right. Looks good. Go. Sorry. Go. 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 All right. All right. All right. Yeah. That's what happened. It's gone. We continue to hold. When we probably should have gone out last Friday, almost directly as soon as the podcast came out. We probably should have gotten was when we should have gotten out, but we didn't. So rough. No, I've still got some AMC. I'm holding on to that till the bitter end. Well, it's still like I bought it pretty early, so it's still I'm still up on AMC, so I might as well see where it goes. I don't know, it was like $50. So I'm like, yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Yeah, man. I've had there's this thing called stake that allows Australians to like, this is what I was talking about. It's complicated to buy shares on the US market from Australia, but there is a, like, it sort of streamlines it. Sort of. It's still complicated. It's annoying as shit. There's all these little hoops you got to go through, and the biggest problem is that whenever you sell out of your shares, it takes 2 days for the money to be it's sort of insured, and it takes 2 days for them to like unsecure that money. And so what basically happens is, because I just dumped some money into this thing to fight about on the US stock market. That is the fucking classiest sentence I've ever said in my entire life. I cannot believe it. That is like some fucking, I'm the Monopoly man. That's exactly what the Monopoly man would say. Oh, I just dumped some money into this thing to fight about of the US stocks. That's how the Monopoly man talks from now on in my head. Anyway, yeah, basically, it takes 2 days to take it out, and it takes you can't like take it back for 60 days. And so basically what happened is, last time I went fighting about on the stock exchange, I forgot. 60 days passed and I forgot that the money was there. And so when all this shit was kicking off, I jumped in to have a look, and I had like a bunch of money already in, which, by the way, is a mad pain in the dick as well. Getting the money into there is also a pain. So there's like all these steps. It's it can take like a fucking full week just to get the money into the program and actually buy some shares. But because I'd already done all this stuff, I'm like, oh, well, fuck it, I'll just buy some AMC. I'm like looking at GameStop, and it was already pretty close to, I think, what the peak wound up being. It was already at like 350, and I think it peaked at like 400 or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I think these guys are memeing, but I don't think they can meme it that much further. So, yeah. But AMC seems like the next meme, so let's have a punt at that. And yeah, it climbed up. I probably could have tripled my money, but now I'm just waiting for it to drift away into nothing instead. No, I do think it will probably stabilize. The other problem is that you can only trade between 1:30 and fucking 1:30 a.m. and like 9:30 a.m. Australia time. So I'm never there for the market opening, ever, because I don't stay awake that. I'm just not capable of staying awake that late anymore. So yeah, anyway. So I did buy some shares for a goof, because that's what us Monopoly men do. We speculate on the stock markets. I believe that's the terms that they like to use. And yeah, I bought some Bitcoin as well. I've had that for ages, actually. I've had Bitcoin forever. And I took that out yesterday. It's up at like 49,000, or Australian anyway. Yeah, I don't know. It all seems like a big old goof. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that money and I'm going to reinvest it into a safer bet. Yeah, putting it all on black. Just seems like smarter money-wise. Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about those sorts of. You see the fucking money that people keep putting in online. They're like, oh, I just bought $200,000 worth of. We're not talking about that sort of volume under any circumstances. Much smaller amounts. Much smaller amounts. Yeah, but yeah, no, it's dumb shit. You see the graph go up. It's almost like an incremental game where you've got no control over what happens. It's an idle game where there's no clicking. It's the idlest game of all, really. And then everything goes to shit. You click once, and yeah, that's what it is. It's multiplayer idle game. That's genius. That is genius. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Hey, speaking of stocks and shares, fucking, I want to buy shares in your fucking beard. Listeners can't see this, but Luke's gone back to beardy Luke, and it is a strong beard. The man grows a good beard. I tell you what, it is ridiculous. I grow a bad beard. I tried to trim my beard last week, and it didn't work. It did not work at all. I've got a beard trimmer, and it's got like this thing that adjusts. Like you can go from like 2.2 mils all the way up to I think it's like 5 mils of like length to trim it. I've got no idea how to use it. I've got no idea how to use it because when I use it, I like trim my beard and I got like these. It's basically like mutton chops are up on the cheeks. What is it called when it's underneath on the jowls? What? Not not on my face. It just leaves giant patches right here and there, and it looks like holy shit. Yeah. Like when I finished the other day, I legit tried to tell people that my shaver ran out of juice because it looked that bad. I'm like, oh fuck. It's like this looks so bad. I'm gonna have to tell people that the battery ran out on my shaver because it doesn't look even remotely even. Um, so yeah. Anyway, I grow not as good a beard as you, and I can't fucking shape the thing for the life of me. But I do think a beard is what I need to do. Right at this point, I don't know. I don't know. Look, yours. Do you like dye yours? We're talking about this beard thing way too much. Look, it's so strong and dark. I got grey in my beard. I can see it, mate. It's not. Yeah. Right. 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 Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Uh, it's a good thing she doesn't listen to this podcast. Otherwise, the secret would be out. Yeah. We'll keep it quiet. All right. Uh oh. That's a good plan. All right. Wedge a chair. Wedge a chair underneath the handle. Um, barricade yourself in. Um, excellent. Video games. Cool. We play. We got a lot. That's based. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Breadcrumbing. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering, like, I'm sort of wondering if, like, your what you want them to do is sort of at odds with what you want from the game. You know, like, I wonder if it's one of those situations where what you want the game to be, which is this, zen sort of uh, chill out experience, would be at odds with them implementing a more robust or complex story element or even co-op. Like, would it still fulfill that role if it had those things, do you think? Or yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking like in a broader sense, like well, the things you talk about liking in the game, is that like is that process, right? And you were talking about how you didn't want the ghost ship to turn out to be actually spooky because it would ruin your fucking yeah, it would ruin your fucking lo-fi hip hop chill vibe. But like you know, having if we were playing together, I imagine it wouldn't be the lo-fi hip hop chill vibes either. And if they had a robot, if yeah, exactly, and if it had like this extreme storytelling situation, I imagine that might impact it as well. And I don't know. It just makes me wonder if what you want from the game is what it is. Like I wonder where that balance sits. Right? Is it that you have found what you like about the game in its current form, but you still want it to be more, or is it that like you want this game to be what it is and changes like growing it in certain directions would ruin that. Like I'm just I don't know interested. Yeah, so you can have your lo-fi chill shit and your goofy multiplayer times as well. Yeah, yeah. No, 100%. No, that's you've been very clear on that. Yeah, I was more like in a very broad sense of the game itself, far beyond its immediate needs. Yeah, I just what's yeah, yeah. Mm, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Not f- yeah. Yeah. Silent Hill. Yeah. Fixed camera, tank turning, garbage. Spirit World. Yep. I used it for Resident Evil. I found the Resident Evil demo was far more pixel hunty than I found the medium. Although I do think it applies. I mean, especially what I was, yeah, the when I said I had to fucking restart the game over, it had that element of you have to do things in a certain order as well. So that was very pixel hunty, or that old school point and click adventure style that I've always fucking hated. But yeah, pixel hunting, it does feel appropriate, even if you aren't necessarily doing the mousing over every single fucking pixel to find what you can click. Yeah, I think that is an appropriate description. Yeah, yeah. They've patented the idea. Did you know this? They've got a patent on it. Fuck, I hate trying to say that word. Yeah, they do, which is interesting because I thought Microsoft No, Microsoft. Microsoft had the patent on spreadsheets. Sorry, PowerPoint on PowerPoint on the old slideshow. Because the further in you get of that game, the more stuttery it gets. It is heinous. On that Series X. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Not handling it. So it's a garbage. It's a piece of shit. It's, it's yeah. That's it. That's it. Yeah. It's not worth it. No. Yeah. 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 They're rendering two entire environments at the same time. Like with ray tracing and fucking all this shit on. Like no hope. Absolutely no hope. Yeah. Yeah. It's it's not surprising. It's just weird to build your game around something that even the best computers that didn't exist when you started making it, uh, aren't capable of fucking doing this. You know, like insanity. But yeah, I stopped playing. I know it's not my kind of game. I can't like I just can't bring myself to continue to play something. I just don't like the fucking that Resident Evil, Silent Hill style of fucking fixed camera stuff. It just drives me fucking bonkers. And so, yeah, I tried to play a little bit more, and I can sort of I get the fucking hint that it might be going in some interesting directions, but uh, oh, I don't know, one, yeah, no, but that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, yeah, I got to the second time it split screens and it started shitting its pants again. I'm like, I'm just gonna go play FIFA. I'm just gonna go play. This isn't working for me. I'm just gonna go play FIFA. Is actually pretty common. Common refrain from me this week because I've played a number of games where I'm like, why am I doing this? What am I doing with this? What the fuck? God damn it, fuck this. Although I don't think I gave. I don't know. I knew from the outset that the medium wasn't really my jam. Um, but yeah, Yeah. 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 I believe the same. Yeah. Right. 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 Yeah. That makes sense. Uh, yeah. Okay. Well, I might give it a look. I don't know. Like I'm so fucking burning out on idled out. It's just I'm doing the fucking wildfires thing on Idle Slayer at this point, and like it's basically 54,000 fucking fires, and that's just dumb to me. It just doesn't make sense. You know, like it's too many. So yeah, I don't know. I'm at a point now where either my options are to um I guess like continue to ultra ascend, like just repeatedly do that. I've got an just if I like that's my plan. Is basically once I get to 3 ultra ascensions, I'm just going to do that again. 3 points because I don't like that early cycle, but I don't want to do 54,000 fucking wildfires. So yeah, that's basically what I'm thinking at this point. Those are my options. So that sort of feels like instead I need a different game to play. You know, and yeah, if your one's on mobile, then I'll give it a shot. If it's not, then fuck it. Nice. Well then, give it a run. Although, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem that deep. You didn't make it sound all that deep. Yeah. Yeah. No. Makes sense. Yeah. Cool. Remember when I was like, oh yeah, and then I was like, I'm just gonna go play FIFA instead. That's Destruction All Stars, 100%. I just, man, I don't have fun with it, eh? Yeah. So it's one of the three. There's Control, the Ultimate Edition, which is pretty rad. There's Destruction All Stars, and there is what's the other game? Um, I had it. Whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know. It's not MLB the Show. And yeah, it's basically I don't know. You just I guess it's that's it, right? I've heard good things about that. Yeah. Um, this was supposed to be a launch game for the PlayStation 5. It's a destruction derby style game where you roll around uh, in cars, smashing into other people. I was very keen for it because one of the first games I had on my PlayStation, original PlayStation, was Destruction Derby, and I played the absolute fuck out of it. I really, really love that game. Um, yeah, but I don't know. It just doesn't manage to do that. You know, like it doesn't manage to fulfill the promise of the concept at its heart, which is destruction derby, right? Like I'm gonna get to play old school destruction derby. This just never happens. The problem, it's a I don't know, it's a pretty rough one, right? Like you wind up in this weird space with it where what's happening is like you start outside of the car, you go and get a car, so you never have real ownership over your car, and you just sort of fucking roll around, smashing into stuff, vaguely completing these objectives, and it never really feels like good to play, I guess, right? Like let's break it all the way down to like one full game of it, right? And basically what happens is you and 16 other players jump into this game, and you start off on this platform. You're this zany character from fucking Fortnite or something. You've got all these moves. For some reason, when you come in, you always like sort of your character always teleports into place. This is like it's extremely noticeable. I can't get over how noticeable it is. Like they don't start in location; they sort of warp into place, as if it's like just finding a location. But it's almost like it loaded in or went to that screen like half a second early, and then you know do the character's canned intro sequence. The guy I keep playing as plays his leg like it's a guitar, which I don't know. I like when I first saw it, I was like, well, that's pretty slick. And the 80th time I saw it, I was like, just fuck off, mate. Anyway, and then yeah, it counts down. I think it's Bruce Buffer doing the fucking voiceover. And he counts down, and you jump into the arena and start, and that's it. And then once you're in, it tallies points. Like the basic game mode tallies points based on hits you do and full destruction and KOs, and whoever has the most points at the end wins, and that's about it. And yeah, it doesn't feel like there's enough, like there's not enough fucking structure there. Like there's not enough. It's underbaked. It doesn't make enough sense as an entire game concept for that to be it, because it's not about really destroying cars. It's like you wind up in these situations where you're just trying to game the system by gaining as many points as possible, and so you're not necessarily trying to destroy cars. You're mostly trying to make sure your car doesn't get destroyed. You do a lot of damage, and then what your best option is to make sure that you're out of your car when you are definitely going to get destroyed, or when you're going to take a big hit, because that way you make sure people don't get points. And that doesn't feel like yeah, you can very easily leap out of your car whenever you want. You can go jump in a new car very quickly. And yeah, it feels, instead of being about the destruction, it feels more about not allowing others to get destruction. And that is the antithesis of the concept of the demolition derby, in my opinion. The mode that I actually like to play is basically a battle royale, and it is a lot better as a fucking destruction derby concept. You're in this arena. It's made up of these hexagons. Gradually, these hexagons fall away, and you need to be the last person standing. And in the practice modes against AI, everyone has like 5 lives, but in the online mode, everyone has 1 life, which I find to be quite weird, because it turns, like in the AI mode, like rounds take a while and they're exciting, and you're sort of paying a lot of attention to what's going on and all the kind of stuff, and it gets right down to the wire where the like arena is very small. It's actually battle royale, right? Like when I think about what I require for a game to be battle royale as opposed to last man standing, it requires what? Random loot, a random spawn location, a ever shrinking arena platform, and the proviso that the last person or team standing wins. Technically, this fulfills all of my my requirements for a battle royale, because you randomly select a car. You are placed in a random starting location from the get-go. The arena shrinks, and the last person standing wins. In practice, it's not that interesting because you only have the one life, and you wind up in these situations where, so the guy I like, I guess I should, I think it's 16. There's 16 characters. Each one has a different ability, and each one has a different special car. And the guy I love, they're all of a variety of annoying characters. I don't like any of them. But the guy I play as has a car that when you activate its special ability, it's like starts up a wood chipper or a fucking combine harvester on its front. And if any car drives into that, or if you hit any car with it, they die. The car is destroyed and anyone in it dies. And so in the Battle Royale mode, all I do is from the get-go, to build up your power, you do hits and stuff, but there's also these like shards littered around the arena. And you can only pick up these shards if you're outside of your car. And so all I do is I run around. I don't get into a car from the get-go. I run around and pick up these shards, and then I spawn in my special car, and then I hit people with the special ability, and they instantly die, and that's it. And all I will do then is drive around until I've got my special ability back up, and then I will murder them. I put up a video on my YouTube of me winning a game, and that's basically. I don't do exactly that. I'm sort of playing a little bit because it's my first multiplayer game. I wasn't exactly sure how it would play out. I was surprised that people only got one life. So I didn't do it immediately, and I wasn't because I didn't want to risk my one life, because if you get run over while you're outside of a car, as long as they do the shunt move, you die. And so I didn't want to risk that. I forgot. It's so much worse than it immediately appears. There's no Australian servers. Your options are to play on the Japanese servers, the European servers, which you are on by default, or the US Central servers. There's only 3 server options, and all of them are laggy as fuck. Every time I've lost in the last man standing mode, it has been to a hit that cannot possibly have actually collided with me. On my screen, there's no way for it to have happened. I got killed while, like, there's raised platforms that hold cars. I got killed while standing on one of those raised platforms because I assume at some point the game didn't really, like, I don't know, it was confused about my actual location, which is not good, right? Like, even if I am laggy as fuck, which I'm not a fan of, but even if I am laggy as shit, it should still be able to correctly work out where I am in the game world at all times. And if I'm on a raised fucking platform and no car can possibly run me over, then I shouldn't be able to get fucking run over. Flat out. That should never happen. But it does happen because this game is not made well. So yeah, there's that. It's laggy as shit. You run around. Oh yeah, everyone. Yeah. Oh my god. I'm so, like, you have to mute. You have to do it via the PlayStation. To mute it, right, from the get-go, right? Everyone is on. They're always on voice comms, and the PlayStation has a fucking mic in its controller that is on by default. You have to press a button to mute it. Most people don't. You have to press the PlayStation button, and then there is a card from the outset that will allow you to mute everyone in the server, like just straight up mute everyone in the server, which is bad because 2 of the modes are team modes, and you can't communicate with your teammates if you do that. But the alternative is listening to some fucking doofus like, okay, guys, yeah, I'm just eating my burrito. I'm playing some playing some AllStars. And you're like, oh my fucking God, I'm going to fucking kill this person. But you can't because they're in a different country. And also, it's impossible to work out who's doing it because you can't bring up the fucking list. So all I did was curse them out because, fuck it. I thanked them. I thanked them for messily eating their burrito while also being terrible at destruction AllStars. And they were not grateful for my thanks. Anyway, so there's that. That's fantastic. And yeah, like you just, man, it's so easy to win. It's so easy to win the battle royale mode by literally in the video. I turned around, activated my my special move, and ran over a guy. I've gotten wins by I jumped on, like, there was one person left, and like one other person left, and I got a win. They just like kept running out of the way. They literally never got in a car. Like specifically, they never got in a car, and they let the time tick all the way down, which was, I don't know, I found it amusing, but because of the lag, I wasn't able to actually hit them and finish them off because I couldn't time. You can run over someone, but unless you do the shunt move, they don't get KO'd. So I was running over them, but I couldn't time actually shunting them to death because I had no actual idea where they fucking were at any. Like, some of the time I'd run over them and they wouldn't get hit at all. Some of the times they'd be knocked on their ass before I actually reached them. Like, it was all over the fucking place. Impossible to fucking tell. So yeah, that wasn't good. And then I won because if it times out, it gives the win to the person with the most knockouts, and I had fucking 5 or something. So yeah, it just did it that way. It should have just kept shrinking, in my opinion, until it was just 2 people left on an arena on one fucking hexagon trying to fucking live. I won a game by jumping on top of it. You can leap onto someone's car and try to steal it, or you can explode it. They don't die to the explosion if you do the explode move. It's not a KO, but I did win when it was the last person left. I jumped on top of their car, and for some reason they drove off a ledge. I think they were trying to take me down with them or something. I don't fucking know what their plan was. But I was technically above them, so I won because I died second. So that was pretty good. Yeah, like, it's just, they just haven't thought everything all the way through. Like, this game is hideously underbaked. Yeah, I don't know. And this was delayed. This was supposed to be a launch title, and this is the big delay, and it's coming out like this. It's intensely unlikable, and yeah, they were going to charge money for this shit. Yeah, which, holy crap, don't buy this game. I think the fact that there are only 3 options for servers is a pretty good summation of the amount of faith they have in how this game is going to go. The fact that they didn't even bother with US West and US East, I think that's pretty telling. But yeah, it just not good. There's 2 team-based game modes. One of them I played 3 times and could not work out what the fuck it was I was supposed to be doing. I think you collect these gears, and then you go and stand on these and you need to have gears. It's almost like Battlefield or Domination, but to capture a point, you need to have collected gears from destroying other people's cars, and you can only collect gears when you're outside of a car, and then once you have the gears, you go to the point and you can cap the point. And Yeah, honestly, if you get hit, you lose the gears. I think like fucking Sonic with rings and some shit. I think you use them. No, you get points by holding domination, like control points. But I honestly don't know. I or the amount of gears you have. Like if they put 10 gears into a point, maybe you need 10 gears to take it back or something. These are the questions that I couldn't fucking work out. So after playing it 3 times, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm just gonna go play FIFA. And then the other game is it's Carnado. You get points for hits, KOs, and destroying cars, and you need to bank those points by driving your car into a Carnado, and then your car explodes, and you got to go find another one. Um, it was the range of the Carnado was extremely buggy. Like sometimes it'd be fucking huge, and I'd just be driving past it, and my car would get blown up, and it'd be like, "You banked 1 point." I'd be like, "Cool." I wasn't actually great, and other times I'd have to I'd be halfway through the other side. So it's obviously a network latency thing. Yeah, I'd be halfway on my way out of the fucking Carnado, and then it exploded. And I'm like, cool, great, fantastic. But that's another one where like teamwork is basically essential, but it almost um, can't possibly matter because you never want to communicate with your teammates, and so it's basically just some hero bullshit. I did what I did in the battle royale mode, where I would just get my hero car as quickly as possible, and then I just churn through a bunch of cars, and then I'd bank those points, and the announcer would be like, "Oh, it's tough to see someone treat their hero car like that," but at the same time, I'm like, "Well, that's the fucking aim of the game, cunt. Like, what the fuck? Like, they didn't even like." It doesn't even have a voice line to acknowledge that you've it's literally just, oh, hero car got destroyed, uh that is bad. That's the extent of its like internal logic for its commentary. Like it's not even complex enough to fucking understand that it was it was a play worth 80 points, which was more than the rest of my team had earned at that point combined. Um, but it didn't care. It was just like, oh, you hate to see it. Oh no, Duffman is falling over. Yeah, it's like you can't even. You're not even smart enough for that. Like fucking hell, disappointing. Rocket League. Yeah, no, it's done. Yeah. Um, It's a shame because I really would like a great destruction derby game, but this isn't it. I mean, even from a destruction point of view, it's not that interesting. You remember Destruction Derby, like cars like got damaged, and you could see that damage, and like I don't know if you did this, but like very quickly we realized the best like you would fucking literally reverse around everywhere. You would drive the entire game in reverse because it protected your engine, and the game was smart enough to fucking work that out and shit. There's none of that in this. Like you get damaged and stuff, and it sort of shows up, but you can't really get a good like view of it because your right thumbstick is bound to fucking like your shunts. You shunt forward or you shunt left and right, so you can't like turn the camera and stuff, which also makes driving pretty or more challenging than it needs to be because you can't like quickly look like just a little to your left and stuff to work out the best fucking lines and stuff. You're sort of fixed in your viewpoint until you get out of the car. And yeah, so there's that like you lose your wheels and stuff as your car gets more and more damaged, but mostly all you're really looking at is like there was this element in Destruction Derby where like what you were looking at to determine how damaged another car was the destruction of the car, whereas in this what you're looking at is the fucking health bar above the fucking car's head and stuff. Like it just on no level does it understand what a Destruction Derby game needs to fucking do. I just find that so disappointing. Yeah. No, it's done. Right. Nope. They never really seemed like the games for me. I think I previewed one, or I think it was like Yakuza 3, maybe. And I just, yeah, I didn't find it particularly interesting. So I'm like, no, I'm good. Right. Good luck. Right. Pretty, pretty odd. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. 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 Cool. Right. Right. Cool. Nice. I think I have a copy. I might check. I mean, yeah. My problem is I bounce off JRPGs pretty quickly unless they can grab me. Maybe you've given me enough to like get past that initial threshold, but well, let's just see. I don't know. I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a punt. But I like story. I like story, and this sounds like a pretty interesting story. But like, yeah, but it's yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice. Cool. Yep. on my PC actually. So I don't know if you saw this, but earlier this week, code for the very nearly finished XBLA prototype of the GoldenEye remake, GoldenEye 64 remake. So Xbox Live Arcade remake of the GoldenEye 64 game by Rare. It leaked onto the internet. Apparently, it got killed at the time by Nintendo. They just didn't want to sign off on it. But it was, and having played it, it was 95% fucking done. It was ready to rock. And so it leaked. It's playable. You can play it. If you've got a modded Xbox 360, you can play it on the modded Xbox 360. Or if you do not have a modded Xbox 360, and that seems far more likely, you can play it on a emulator, an Xbox 360 emulator. There's only one Xbox 360 emulator that really has been maintained, and unfortunately, it's single player only, which is a bummer. I only ever played GoldenEye multiplayer. I didn't really play the single player of GoldenEye. It just wasn't. Well, I didn't have a fucking 64. I had a PlayStation. So, yeah. 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 Yeah, 100%. I like a. I think you saw a lot of it in. Because I think a lot of the devs on it went to work on Time Splitters, right? And you saw a lot of that in Time Splitters, which was more the sort of game. Like, yeah, that's what I played instead. Once I got a PlayStation 2. But yeah, I had a PlayStation 1. But there was a kid, Brendan, who lived literally around the corner from school, and he had a 64, and he had 4 controllers. And so we would ditch and go play 64 all day, play GoldenEye all day, multiplayer. And that's all I ever really played of GoldenEye. I was shit at it when I first started, but I clapped. I fucking smacked these motherfuckers by the end because I don't know, I'm ultra competitive, and I pick up tricks and shooters pretty quickly, I guess. So yeah, I played a lot of fucking multiplayer, but yeah, you can't play that in the emulator. I think you probably could if you had a modded Xbox 360, but I don't know. I don't know anyone who has one. So anyway, so you are actually able to play this if you can find a way to get it. It is. I don't know about the legality of it or anything, but I'm sure if you were to search on Reddit or Discord or something, you'd be able to find some simple way to acquire this and play it. And once you had it, you'd be able to fucking play got the GoldenEye XBLA remake, and it is like stunning to me how deep they've gone into it. I mean, like I said, I didn't really play the single player, but I can immediately recognize. Like, I saw the first level enough times while people were playing, like playing through it for the cheats and stuff, or they. These guys, Brendan and Carlin, would like blitz through it to get the cheats, and just to show off, basically, just to flex when they lost at multiplayer. And yeah, I recognize the first level immediately. I've only played through the first level because I only got it this morning before the podcast. But yeah, immediately recognized it. The music's there, the sounds are there. It feels good to like play on and stuff like that. First thing you have to do is switched the aiming away from inverted, so I can't control like that anymore. Although I do remember back in the day, that was it. You had to play inverted. Everyone played inverted in multiplayer. I don't even know if you could switch it, but you flat out weren't allowed to anyway, because it just complicated things. Like when you were passing the controller, because there'd always be like 6 or 7 us there, and nobody wanted to for the one person who didn't want to play fucking inverted. Nobody wanted to fucking switch every single time. So yeah. Nowadays, none of this inverted shit for me. Thank you very much. So yeah, just playing through that first level. It's rad. It's very if you can work out how to get it, 100% highly recommend hunting it down. Like I said, don't know about the legality, so you got to fucking bear that responsibility for yourself. But yeah, it's fascinating to see just how far they come on it, and very cool that it managed to make its way out into the world. And yeah, on Quake 3, right? Yeah, Quake 3 mod, right? Or Half-Life mod? Half-Life mod. Golden. It's it. Yeah. Yeah. 2020. Yeah, I'd say it's close to 5, right? Right? Where? I gotta see this. I gotta see how old it is. Fuck, we're old. 97, so 24 years old. He's gold. I mean, it informs, like the single player design definitely went on to inform so much in how like action shooters were designed for the next decade. Like the impact this game had is massive. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like things just didn't happen very much in games, but they become immensely popular thanks to GoldenEye. So it's absolutely one of those games that is worth checking out if you have the capacity to do it. And like I said, okay with bearing the responsibility of possibly acquiring something that may not be legal. Although you didn't leak it, and all of that, so I don't think. No, I'm not gonna fucking. I'm not even gonna fucking tread those waters. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a smart plan. I don't. I shouldn't offer legal advice. And I should point out, I suppose, because I've seen enough people do it. I should point out that I am not a financial advisor, and I am just an idiot. But no, it's worth checking out if you can acquire a copy legally. I suppose is how I'm going to fucking dodge that bullet. But yeah. So apparently it was encrypted and only playable on dev consoles. And the story, the lore, I guess. How good is it? How like, these are the sorts of stories I feel like you would have definitely passed around at school. It'd be like, oh yeah, my uncle works at Nintendo and he managed to get a copy because he's got a dev console and you can actually play it and you can totally play it. And if you put in this combination, key combination, then you can see Xenia on the top naked, and you'd be like, well, all I want to do in my life now is acquire a dev console. But no, instead it is sort of like that though. It was only play like back in the day. It briefly showed up on the back end system. Someone dumped it immediately, but it was only playable on a dev console because it was encrypted, and then they decrypted it, and but it was still like very not everyone had immediate availability. Like it wasn't immediately available to everyone. But then someone on 4chan, I believe, just dumped the fucking code up for everyone to get, and someone else decompressed it and compiled it, and then now, if you know where to look, I heartily recommend, if you do know where to look, acquiring the compiled version, not the yet to be compiled version, because I mean I don't fucking know how to do it. But and if you're to acquire an emulator, you can fucking play it, and that's about all there is to it. It's fucking cool. You should do it if you're intrigued at all, and you can find out how to do it. Like I said, I mean, you would probably look on Reddit or Discord or something and be able to find out how to do it. That's what I'd do. I'd Google it. I mean, in Australia, you'll only be able to Google it for another couple of months before Google leaves forever, apparently. I'm going to fucking ask Jeeves for help. I'm going to ask Jeeves how I pirate a fucking leaked GoldenEye remake. Jeeves is gonna flip out. Jeeves is not gonna have any idea what I'm fucking talking about. Yeah. Cool. That's it. GoldenEye. Wonderful. Let's do it. I've been playing Magic the Gathering. So this was pretty interesting. This is pretty cool situation. So you may recall, if you've been listening to us for a while, you may recall that we used to go to the Magic the Gathering launches that they would have, where they would launch the new cards and show them off, and we get to play a bunch of Magic against a bunch of people of varying skill levels. Preferably, we would be playing against people of low skill levels because we are not good at Magic. But yeah, basically, they had to shift this concept to an online, event because of everything, and they had one for Kaldheim. Kaldheim's the new Nordic Viking themed expansion, the new card packs that are coming out very soon. They might even be out by the time you listen to this. I should definitely have checked before I started yapping, but we've come this far, and it's a bunch of new cards, as they always do. They've added some new mechanics, 2 new mechanics, Boast and Foretell, and a bunch of new planeswalkers and cards, and just basically generally grown Magic once again. It's so the way they did it, because obviously it's remote. They got us all to play via Magic the Gathering Arena, and because Arena is basically a 1-for-1 copy of the card game. You can even get cards, you can get codes on your cards that will give them to you in Arena, which is pretty cool. So jumped into Arena. I remember playing it when it first came into the beta, and bouncing off it because I felt the tutorialization wasn't wasn't good enough. They've changed that. There's now fantastic tutorial that walks you through almost everything. I feel like it doesn't really tell you enough, even close to enough, about building a deck after you've finished everything. I feel like they really need to do something about that, because obviously deck building is a massive part of the Magic experience. But it does give you a bunch of pre-made decks, and it has a bunch of, like, you play against like people of if you've never played Magic, cards have colors, and you've got to play these land cards, and the land cards are a specific color, and often you'll need like a black land, a swamp, or a green land, forest, to play a card with the corresponding land mana type. And so you might need 3 I don't know, blank lands plus a black land plus a swamp plus a forest to play that would be a pretty fucking meaty card at that point. That'd be like 5 mana. And that way you can play your cards out. What it does do is put you in games with the decks it's given you to fight against every other color to get an idea of how they play, which is, I think, fantastic, because each, like, first of all, you get a feel for how they play to have that deck, how it plays to have a red deck or a white deck or a blue deck, green deck, black deck, whatever. But it also gives you an opportunity to how it feels to play as a black deck against a blue deck, right? Is different compared to a white deck, because the blue deck's going to do things like, I think blue does like a lot of flying stuff, whereas a white deck is going to like enchant your cards and fuck you up in that manner. And so you got to think about those things. And I think that's fantastic. That's some shit that I feel like we never learned while playing the card game. I never learned while, like, we went to the Magic the Gathering like tournament and shit. Like, never learned any of that stuff in that moment. That's the sort of stuff that you would learn by playing a lot, and they've sort of shortcutted that, which I think is fantastic. What they didn't do is then they're like, oh yeah, and make a deck, right? And so you make a deck, and we got a shit ton of card packs, and you go to make a deck, and it doesn't really explain anything. It's just like, well, make a fucking deck, mate. Like, how hard can it be, cunt? Just fucking do it. The best it does is it automatically, like, as soon as you pick a card, you start to make a deck, it will automatically add 25 lands. Like, straight out. Immediately add 25 lands. Personally, I then went and added 5 more fucking lands. There's nothing drives me fucking battier than not having fucking land. I still got land fucked while playing yesterday. I cannot fucking believe it, but I added 5 extra fucking lands and I still got fucked on it, which is insane to me. I cannot believe, like, that's the biggest problem that I think Magic has, is that you get fucking land screwed. And it's not like I'm not, like, anyone listening to this who's an expert at Magic, I'm sure, right, is listening and going, well, fucking, you probably started with, no. I started with 3 fucking lands in hand, and then inexplicably I got to watch as all that I had, I stalled out at 4 lands. I got 1 more land, and I managed to hold on long enough to get 4 more cards. But I couldn't, like, it just never fucking happened that I was able to do anything. I had 4 lands, and I had my 4 power cards out, but I couldn't do. I had, like, I think I got 2 5 uh, 5 mana cards, and naturally I drew both of those instead of any lands, and yeah, and only ever drew 4 and 5 mana cards. I do not have that many. I got like 60, I think it's 64 cards in my deck, which is probably maybe a bit high. I don't know. You have to have a minimum of 60. I had 64 in my deck. On the draw of the 7 cards, I had good curve. I had like a 1 mana. I had 3 mana, 4 mana, 4 mana. I'm like, I'm gonna hold on to that because I've got 3 lands. I think that's pretty good. I can get to 4 mana, and then like I'll probably get another land. I only got 1 more, and I drew 2 5 fucking mana cards. Like, it's gonna happen, right? It's an RNG based game. You are gonna get land fucked. I just cannot believe. Oh god, it just drives me fucking bananas, man. But I'd like after that game, I had a couple more games. I had a lot of fun playing those ones. I was playing a pure black deck. I've got I think I've made a pretty good deck. They were like, as part of the event, they were encouraging us. They gave us, I think it was like 45 packs, and part of the event, they were encouraging us to build as many Kaldheim cards into the deck as possible, which I don't think makes the best deck necessarily. You've definitely I was definitely standing there picking cards that weren't terribly useful for my deck, but at the same time they were Kaldheim, and I'm like, we'll see it. And so at the same time, in the other games that I was playing these Kaldheim cards just because I had enough mana to do them, and I wanted to see, what does Foretell do? I want to see Foretell in action because it's one of the new objectives, and Foretell is pretty interesting. You pay, I think it's 2 mana, and it goes into like a pile, and then the next time you play it, it's cheaper, and so it's sort of like priming your cards, and you can get them out for technically cheaper. It's actually almost a sly way to get around the mana fucking issue, because you can use that to sort of shortcut the amount of mana you need. It's just that you require an extra turn to get it out. So yeah, you're paying for time as opposed to or paying with time as opposed to with mana necessarily. You're paying with a turn. But it's pretty cool. Like it makes sense. And I had a couple of cards that really made a lot of use out of it. I had one card that gave every single card in my hand. As long as this creature was on the board, every single card in my hand had Foretell. And if I foretold on a card, that creature would get like +2 damage, +2 attack for the turn. And so that was pretty interesting because I was able to, I had a lot of little, like in one round, I had a lot of little cards where I was able to like foretell a shitload in one turn and like really buff up this card and then like wallop into my enemy, which was pretty cool. Like it was just an interesting card to to have there. The other new one they've got is Boast, and I didn't draw any. Well, I was playing a black deck. I didn't see any Boast cards I didn't have any available. So I didn't really get a good idea of what it does. I'm just going to look it up, I think, real quick. So I think the boast part is, if I recall correctly from the description, I think the boast part is if they survive combat. So that's when it happens. Like they have to be attacked or attack. Yeah, they have to attack, I think. Oh, okay. So if they have made an attack, they get to, activate the attached ability, which is, the thing you were talking about. The they can look through their deck, or they can scry, or they get +1 power or something like that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It. Yeah. I don't know. Doesn't sound that good, does it? I don't know. I suppose. Yeah. Yeah. If it's super good and it winds up being quite cheap, then that's not bad. But yeah, I don't know. There's loads of stuff that sort of just happens regardless when you attack. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Well, like I said, I didn't have any fucking boast cards, so I got no fucking idea. But anyway, yeah, I've been having a load of fun with it. I'm going to tweak my deck to make it a little bit better. It's out on Android now, so yeah, I'm going to check it out on Android and see how it goes on that. And yeah, play it that way. My biggest problem remains being land fucked in Magic. Drives me fucking bananas. I think, and it's definitely a problem that only gets me, that I only like fall prey to because my first card game experience wasn't Magic. I think if your first card game experience was Magic, you'd be more accustomed to the concept. But because my first one was Hearthstone, where you always get an extra mana each turn, like it's basically like you're guaranteed. Like not only do you not have to waste a card draw on a land, but you're always going to get that extra mana. Certain fucking cards, notwithstanding. Yeah, it's just one of those things where you're like, oh, this feels so much worse. Because I'm used to it not being a problem in other games. So yeah. Anyway, had a lot of fun. Oh, and they did this, like they sent dinner from a restaurant to eat, and it was ludicrous. It came with a Viking horn to drink out of. That is, no, that is the one. Yeah, uh, fancy, fancy. I've never been. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Anyway, it's good stuff. Like, yeah, I had a lot of fun playing uh, Magic the Gathering Arena, and I'm really impressed at how much they've updated the onboarding experience. I think if they were to fix if they were to take people through deck building a little bit better, it'd be like really fucking really good. So that's, I think, the only thing holding it back. And I don't even know, when I say it out loud, I don't even know how you would do it, because like there are some really easy things that I think they could do. They've got like icons above each card to tell you how many you've got in your deck already, but they don't explain that you have a 4-card limit in a deck, and stuff like that. Like there are some things that they could do to make it a lot easier to understand. But outside of that, I don't know how you would explain the broader concept of making like a multicolored deck or a tricolored deck or anything like that, because I think that is a layer of complexity that I don't think you could put on a tutorial system. That might be a bridge too far. Nevertheless, a basic deck building tutorial, I think, would be a really good thing for it. Yeah. Yeah. It knows how it works. Like they streamline so much shit. That's so good. Actually, that's a really good point. It knows how it works. When you mouse over a card, it will like it has tooltips to tell you what's happening. It automates a bunch of stuff with the turns. Like if you can't make any moves, it doesn't require you to hit end turn. It just fucking ends the turn for you. All that kind of stuff is fantastic. Yeah, like as a video game, they've really nailed that stuff. They did a really good job. Actually, that does remind me there is one element because you wind up in these situations where you have to continuously click resolve because like in Magic, you've got your instant spell cards, and there are loads of opportunities to cast them. And yeah, but like even more than that, like you can play it to say, oh no, you're not attacking me, or you can wait until the like you if you've got a card that gets a buff when it blocks, you can wait until you've entered the blocking phase and then cast it so that you still get that or like that buff or something, or you can wait until after the attack and you've already blocked and then cast it. Like all these things, right? Like there's so many layers, and I feel like that's the one element that I think they skipped over a little bit in the tutorial because I was playing with Henry from Wizards of the Coast, and he walked me through. I had this card out, and he walked me through this extremely complicated like system where I could literally just stall him and chip him away, like chip him out of damage, like chip him to death basically. And all I had to do was survive for 4 turns. I wound up boffing it by not doing it. I could have done it, but I boffed it by specifically doing a. I had this one card that I really wanted to see what it would do, and so I played that instead of playing the perfect play. I basically deliberately misplayed, but to do this, he had to basically walk me through the step by steps, and I could do it after he told me the first time, and it makes sense after he told me the first time, but I never would have seen it myself without him telling me. And it's fucking cool the way it worked out. And I was able to I was losing health, but I wasn't losing anywhere near as much as I would have been. And yeah, the layers to it, the layers required were pretty rough. And I got fucking land fucked a little bit. Because if I'd had one more land, I would have been able to play this crazy card that I wanted to play and continue to play the. But I didn't see land for like 4 draws, so even though it's half my fucking deck at that point, just what are you gonna do? Anyway, that's yeah. Well, that's just really cool. It's just one of those things where you got to get into that mentality that like it's not just turn phase, like attack phase, block phase. It's like all these little bits in between where you got to be paying a lot of attention, and I feel like they need to like really point at that. That'd be a good improvement for how to play Magic the Gathering Arena, because it does so much else for you, which is fantastic. Anyway, definitely worth checking out. Magic the Gathering Arena is like free to play and stuff. I picked up like obviously they gave me 45 card packs. So my experience is a little bit different. But before that, I made sure and I played. I went through and played for like 4 hours. I played through all the tutorials. You get a bunch of decks out of that. Played after that, played some PvP, and you get a bunch of decks out of it. They got like this mastery thing, which is sort of like their version of a battle pass. I got like 3 Kaldheim packs out of that. And I think I could buy even more because I got a bunch of gems out of it as well. You like complete daily quests. You are capable of getting like a bunch of packs just out of that, and you can use those packs to fill out the decks that they pre-made for you, and sort of like change shit up that way as well. So yeah, it's not a complex analysis of how free to play it is, but I did get the feeling that you could probably play free for like quite a bit. Yeah. 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 It's been a while. But yeah, no, I'm definitely going to play it on my phone, like see how it goes on my phone. I think it makes a lot of sense as a phone game. I think it'll be pretty cramped. I'm interested to see how cramped it is. But if they manage to solve that from a UI UX experience like position, then I think it'll probably be a goal. Yeah, nice. Yeah, yeah, yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. From the outset, it like from the trailer and stuff, it looks like a game that's for me. Because I enjoy. It looks like a Metroidvania style. You know, one of those games where you're constantly looping back through these areas and stuff and acquiring more tools to reach the harder to reach parts. But yeah, in practice, it just didn't wind up being like that. It just like I feel like the way it does the storytelling, I'm not a fan of. It's, you know what it is it's an action game. It feels like a fast-paced action game when you're playing it, and then it does these things where it like grabs you and stops you, like when you're standing on the fucking boat going to a new location or something, and you just have to fucking wait for the boat to fucking float over. And yeah, but there's an invisible wall, and you're like, this is so divorced from the gameplay experience that it's utterly jarring. And because I enjoy the gameplay part, I enjoy the jumping around and throwing the harpoon rather, and like all that kind of stuff. Because I actually enjoy that part, it makes this stuff feel that much more jarring, right? Like it makes this like deliberate fucking halting feel so much worse, because it's like, why can't you just let me get back to the fucking stuff I like, right? Like why am I stuck with this boat dude? Like, why does he command so much of my fucking time? And it it's one of those things where it's not that much time in the grand scheme of things. And yet, if you look at how long you spend on each level, it's actually a pretty fucking significant amount of time. And so it does, like, that feels really bad. And then like the rest of the way the story is told isn't much better, because again, like, it's halting. It's so halting in the way it does it, which is, yeah, like, and so I suppose that's why they slow you down so much, because there is detail, but you only get that detail from careful examination because of the art style. And I don't know, man. Like, I don't hate the art style, to be honest. I actually love games that look like that. It's this, like, I think they can be executed really well. But if the cost for having that sort of art style is this halting storytelling technique, I think it's too high a price to pay, in my opinion, because it's too it's antithetical to the way that the rest of the game plays out, and it winds up feeling really bad, in my opinion. Like, it just, what I want to have happen is like the gameplay style and pace flows into the storytelling style and pace, and it just isn't happening at all. And so mentally, I check out. I check out during the story. I got fucking 3 screens, baby. So what I'm doing while it's telling story is looking at a different fucking screen, because I know I have to wait for it to fucking be done with this shit. That's what it, this sounds, like, when I say it out loud, I know it sounds unbelievably entitled, right? Like, entitled in the sense that people call gamers entitled, but this is what it has trained in me. This is what it's trained me to do, because that is what I do when I'm waiting for the fucking boat dude to float slowly up to the fucking dock. Is I look at a different fucking screen, right? Because why the fuck wouldn't I? And so once I've been trained to do it for that aspect, why wouldn't I do it for the fucking story as well? Especially if the story is told in, I got to be honest, I do not like the Simlish style of voice acting. Just don't do any voice acting, in my opinion. Just do subtitles the entire time. I don't think Simlish language style voice acting in the background serves any purpose in a game like The Sims. All right, the Simlish style of voice acting serves the purpose of humanizing the characters and you never get any more details than what appears in that thought bubble anyway. Toilet or food or fire or whatever. That's all you ever get. When it is attached to complex, uh, holy fuck, it's not another language, is it? I'm not being. You get genetic elements that repeat, right? If it's another language, I apologize profusely because obviously that's a horrible thing to say to describe it as Simlish. I don't think it is. I honestly believe it is a made up uh, because too many sounds are repeated. Yeah. Uh, fuck. I don't know. I hope it's like it is. Anyway, if it's another language, then I apologize profusely. Um, and subtitles make sense, and anyone who's a native speaker, I'm sure, gets more out of it than I do just reading subtitles, because subtitles never convey as much as the native language does. Anyway, that aside, yeah, I don't think it's if it is similar, I don't think it's a good storytelling technique. Yeah, and yeah, otherwise, like I think, but there are elements of the storytelling that I do enjoy. I did think were quite good. But that again, like they're more attached. Like there's that part where before you get the harpoon, it sort of tells you um, the lore of the harpoon, and I thought that was really cool because it sort of guided me where to go, and I thought that was good. And they did it in a way that didn't slow down the pace of the game, and I thought that was pretty important. Uh, that so like I don't know. In some ways, that just makes the more stilted parts of the storytelling that much more jarring to me. Um, it's, yeah, I don't know if it's not a long game, um, then if it's a like it feels like it almost feels like this halted storytelling has been put in to meet some playtime prerequisites, which I don't think is good. But it's the only thing, right? And if yeah, and how much of that is spent standing on a fucking boat waiting for it to go somewhere? Like that's yeah, yeah. No, I'm pretty weird. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. What do we do? Yeah. You did well. Like by the time Drew joined, you guys were like literally on. Well, you fucking specifically called in the fucking exit. Yeah. Right. Oh. Yeah. It's not the end of the button. That would be five. Dig, dig through whatever. Like Iron Beam is a pickaxe, and you can just sort of fucking mine through whatever you want, whenever you want. Although some things are easier to dig through than others. Yeah. Destroy that. Three. Battlefield Bad Company 2. Battlefield Bad Set on Mars. Oh, faction. Red faction. Yeah. I suppose. Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they've changed it since I last played it. I don't think they have. I don't know. Did it like was there a big update? What spurred you to get into it this time? It- Yeah. No, you hadn't played it since well before that, I think. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I felt like there was a big jump in difficulty because we went to extreme difficulty, got fucking our cheeks clapped, and then dropped it down one, and it was a cinch. And I feel like there might be something wrong there. Like either you guys were shitting the bed on extreme, maybe I don't know. I just felt like it was far too easy. I need it to be a lot more hectic for it to be a like. I agree that when we first played it, it was constant and out of control, but I do want it to be a lot more hairy than what that last game we played was. I want it to be fucking balls to the wall shit because I felt like too often we were just able to do whatever the fuck we wanted, sort of in that last one. There wasn't really any pressure, and yeah, felt like there needed to be. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I mean, I love horde games. I've been playing zombies. I didn't put it on the list, but I've been playing COD Zombies again, and uh, really enjoying that shit. It's interesting two spins on a very similar concept, you know. Uh, like, yeah, Deep Rock, I think, has done a really good job of uh, like creating a set goal for you to drive at, for you to go to, uh, and yeah, I think does a really good job of that because it's also very easy to like have like a game where you're just like, oh yeah, in out, quick adventure, 20 minutes, let's go Morty, versus COD Zombies where you sort of in it for the long haul, right? Like, even, 20 wave game is like 45 fucking minutes. So you got to sort of like pick and choose on that front. And I think Deep Rock Galactic does a really good job at making those bite-sized mission. Uh, especially, one of those things where it's far more alien. Obviously, it's on a different planet, but it's far more alien than like zombies is. And so there's like quite a lot of learning in it, right? There's a lot of like, oh yeah, well that's this kind of horrifyingly huge spider. You need to kill it this way, or you need to not let it get close to you, or that fucking grabby thing that kept grabbing me and dumping me over and over again. That was pretty fucking funny. I'd never seen that before. And like that last level we played, like me and Drew were both fucking terrified because we were expecting a different outcome. I don't know if they've made that easier, like eliminated the bosses, or it was just supposed to be on a boss level last time we played it. But the last time we played it, when you picked up those eggs, it was fucking go time. The biggest fucking monster you've ever fucking seen in that game, like, comes at you, and it comes at you hard. And so, yeah, it was surprising to not see that arrive. But like, I think I don't know if you noticed, but there was like a definite mood difference between me and Drew playing that level versus you and Nate, because you didn't know what was what was to come or what wasn't to come, as it turned out, what we expected to come. We were expecting one of the toughest fucking fights that we've had in the game, and we didn't get it. But you guys were just fucking your usual cavalier farting about shit. While me and Drew were doing all, well, Drew wasn't doing any mining. He was too busy farming kills. But yeah, I was doing all the farming and killing. Just carrying you guys, pop you in my little papoose and carry you to fucking victory, as always. That's what they call me. Joab the carry. That's yep. Anyway, good fun. They've evolved it quite well. Yeah, we should definitely check it out again. I would also, I know the new zombies map comes out tomorrow. I definitely want to check that out. It looks pretty interesting. They got a new enemy in it. I'm keen. And yeah, we're actually fucking. We were playing. We had three. Me, Nate, and Trigger, who we play Warzone with sometimes. We were playing, and we are going pretty fucking well, man. So we should definitely, if we had you in there, and I hadn't run out of time, we could have gone even better. But yeah, no, we were doing quite well. It's good fun. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Mm. I enjoyed Everspace, although I felt like it needed work. It just felt like the loop was too short in Everspace. Like the gameplay loop just wound up being a little bit too short to really warrant as much play as it required, because it was a rogue light, whichever fucking one it is supposed to do. Call it. So yeah, it just felt like the loop wasn't quite there. But apart from that, like it was, it just scratches that fucking space shooter itch that games never like to earn fucking stars and fucking $400 billion or whatever the fuck it's up to now. You know, like people absolutely want that they desire that concept of a fucking space game that is fun to play and engaging. Like, yeah, it just doesn't happen anywhere near often enough. But Everspace sort of did it, and it just needed a little bit, like, to be a little bit broader, and yeah, it'd do it, you know. And I feel like that's what they've done with Everspace too. I don't know how they, like, I guess, you know, I guess they arrived at the same uh, conclusion that, you know, it just needed to be a little bit broader and deeper. Or, you know, actually, that's not unfair. I don't know how deep Everspace eventually got, because I burned out on it a little bit too quickly to finish it. But yeah, at least it needed to be broader. So what they've done is they've abandoned the roguelike thing and roguelite thing, and moved to a more traditional RPG style of game. And I think they've fucking nailed it, man. I think they've done a really good job. Like, they even reference it. I don't know if you noticed how deep into it you are, but they talk about it in the like in the conversations about like your origin. They talk about how you used to be a clone, or you come from a clone background, and there's like lore in Everspace to explain the concepts, and but now you know that they've ended that program and you can't be cloned anymore and stuff, so you're the last one, and so that's how they explain the roguelike thing is no longer a situation and whatnot. But it's I think it's rad. I think that's a clever way to talk through that stuff. Um, and yeah, apart from that, I mean, it's gorgeous. It runs really fucking well. And basically, yeah, you're in a spaceship. You fly to locations. You complete your objectives, whatever they may be. You search for loot, and then you like while you're flying about, you're sort of always scanning, and you come across like unknown signals or distress calls and stuff like that, and you go and visit those and stuff like that. And yeah, it's basically free roaming in space, which is fucking amazing. Which is what people wanted, the freelancer style thing. And it's fantastic. I love it, man. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, does a spectacularly poor job of explaining that stuff. And so I definitely destroyed a shitload of valuable materials, thinking I was doing something for the crafting. I totally agree with you there. Like that is, it's almost obtuse. It's almost deliberately unhelpful. Um, in my opinion, they need to do something about that pretty quickly. Um, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely keep an eye out for it. Yeah, um, yeah, because I mean, it's still in progress. It's still being made. Yeah, they they they've spoken in their like dev updates about how they're going to have sales and stuff if you feel like it's too steep price at the moment. Um, yeah, they'll have sales and stuff, but I think it's like it's handcrafted. Every location is like handmade and all that kind of stuff. I think it's it's the sort of game like I think it's gonna have cult status in the future, where people are like I mean, it's like fucking freelancer, right? Like, yeah, it's definitely gonna have that same sort of cult following down the track, where people are just totally fucking blown away. Have you never played? Oh, you've got to play. If you like space games, you've got to check out this. I think this is going to be one. I've been searching for these sorts of games for fucking ages. Of space games. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm gonna. I think I might. I'm near the end of the first area, the first location, first system, I guess. I'm near the end of it. I think I might stop where I am just so I don't like go through it all. I'll burn out on it. Get to the cap of what they've created before before I'm able to play it. You know, the classic early access conundrum of not wanting to play all of a game before you can actually play all of the game. But yeah, I'm definitely going to keep an eye out and keep track of how it's running. Yeah, I'm loving it so far. Yeah. Let's do it. Right. Yeah. 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 Right over the colors. Yeah. Hundred. Yeah. 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 No, no, it's such a weird one. I don't even. It's almost like what's there's that concept, right, where I'm surprised they didn't pull this on us, right? Where you can announce something that is so like the classic negotiating concept of, oh well, I want $1,000 a month, and then they'd be like, oh no, we'll take $100 a month. And you're like, well, at least it's not 1,000. I'm surprised they didn't try to pull this shit on us. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I'd love to know how this one made it. Yeah, right. But also like you you don't see this sort of flip flopping this quickly, right? Like the amount of fucking like at big corporations, the amount of fucking inane meetings they would have had to go to and sit through, and like people having their fucking, oh yeah, here's my input, and it's pointless input, and over and over again, and then yeah, for all of that to go out and then just be switched on in a fucking day. That's yeah, right. Like something must have happened there, right? Like something. I'm just so surprised. There must have been something behind the scenes because it just doesn't make sense. It no like there's no part of it that adds up to me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Mm. Do you think that's what they were trying to do? Like make Xbox Live Gold so untenable a yeah economic prospect that people would just go to Game Pass Ultimate? Like, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's basically just a copy of the PlayStation Plus program, and PlayStation Plus was just a copy of Xbox Live, but they had to justify actually like suddenly charging people for for online. So like, yeah, just complete the fucking cycle and copy PlayStation. Yeah, yeah. It's usually trash like Destruction All Stars. Oh wait, no, you do get Control this month, so Control's pretty awesome. Anyway, yep, because it was resolved 14 hours in. Yeah, no, totally. So shitty. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, yeah, which is crazy. Which is out of control. And like there was no way they had enough time to actually like the only thing that I can think of is that the internal like milestone situation must have been cyberpunk esque. That's the only fucking explanation I can think of that would justify this action. Because it's such a bad look, right? Like holy shit. Yeah. I don't know. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Uh, but I mean, Amazon's not doing much better on the fucking making games front. So, um, true. Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Stadia's always been in trouble, in my opinion. I know a few people have used it who reckon it's the fucking tits. Uh, but is that a gag or I can't tell? Right. I don't know. I'm just surprised to hear something ran well for Cyberpunk. Um, anyway, yeah, it's just that whole system, and now it's got loads of like that's bad blood. That's bad. Like when you bring up Stadia, what people are going to talk about is how they fucking fired 150 developers without ever giving them an opportunity to release even a fucking sniff of what they were making. So it's just not good. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it definitely came out of nowhere to me. I did not expect it at all, but I mean, good on Gearbox, I guess. Good on whoever gets money out of this. I guess Randy can add another wing to his castle, right? No, like, yeah, like, good on him for it. As long as it, you know, we continue to see awesome games like Borderlands 3, I'll be happy. That's the most important thing to me. As long as the games keep coming, as long as we keep getting fucking rad games. You know? What about you? Or Take Two, right? Because Take Two got fucking outbid by EA for Cody's. Yeah. 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 It's true. Battleborn shut down forever yesterday, didn't it? Right. Yep. Yeah. No. Did we ever? I still watch that video and piss myself laughing. Holy fuck. Oh my god. It's just perfection. Uh, yeah, I think they just owned. Yes, yeah, they were publishing it. Yeah, yeah. So they also picked up Aspire Media. Yeah, that was earlier today. Um, what do Aspire do? They do like did they do that bike game? I don't know. I don't really I recognize the name. I can't pick what they fucking make. Right. Yeah. Right. Fair enough. Good on them. Cool. It's out of the night. Nah, probably not. I loved my time with God of War, but I don't know that it's a game that necessarily warrants revisiting all that much. I think it was, it's a good self-contained adventure that I had a good time with. But yeah, I'm pretty good now. I think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do think I think it's got to be coming soon. Yeah, based on that video, I reckon God of War gets pushed. Yeah, intuition. Yeah, right. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. It's probably a good guess. Probably a good guess. As we will find out at some point. Yep. Yep. Yes. Yep. All the good ones. All the good words. Yep. What about Vietnam? No. Okay. What about Future? What about 2142? Lasers and mechs. Yeah. Or we just play Battlefront. Is Battlefront now, the future one, and just fucking play that, mate. Um, yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm hanging out for this so fucking much. I want it to be good and bring out Firestorm along with it. Make it free to play. You fucking mongrel motherfuckers. Just that is where my expectations lie as well. Although I hope that it won't. Right, just get it. We'll sort you out. God damn it. Legendary. Yeah. I was wondering about maybe replaying it and seeing if my wife wanted to play it. So redoing the combat to be more like the later games. The first game had really janky combat. The third game, they'd really fucking nailed it. So all three games will have similar combat. And I think it's a game she might really enjoy. So yeah. Uh, um, no, not really. I didn't really play it, so I don't think I'll be missing out on much. But I know that people who did play it had a really good time. It was sort of like a prototypical Destiny for a lot of people. Yeah. Um. Anyway. Uh. Yeah. What about you? What are you thinking? What? Yeah. Right. Yeah. That is true. That is true. We also have, I don't know if it's readily available, but there is like a 4 hour long Mass Effect spoiler cast. We'll you should remaster it. Perfect. I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. Yep. Anyway, that's it. Do it. Yeah. Yep. I saw the blip. I saw the little thing. Um, okay, here we go. Oh, yep. It's from Nice Nico. Dear the Gap, I have a question about drinking. Going to the right place. Um, yep, third on our list. I'm pretty sure for you, Job, in Australia, the COVID lockdown measures are over, and Luke in the USA, I believe they just don't give a fuck anymore. In jolly old England, we are deep into our third national lockdown, so I'm back on the booze. It feels like drinking and video games is all there is to do. My question is, was your lockdown tipple? For me, it's gin martini, very dry. Have you guys ever tried a martini? What are your thoughts? Thanks, Nick. Thoughts, Luke? First question. What's your lockdown drink of choice? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Is there a cider subscription service you could sign up to, and then they just automatically bring it to your house? Oh, here we go. Oh shit. Yeah. 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 Right. Oh, that's British, right? Yeah. They got Bournemouth. I don't know. Right. Oh, okay. With a dash of vermouth and an olive. Like I strongly prefer vodka martinis to gin martinis. um, yeah. Right. Yep. Right. Nice. Right. Oh, nice. Cool. Still living that life. Like I was saying, I like vodka martinis more than gin martinis. They're both fucking strong as fuck. But what I really like is espresso martinis. My wife found this really good coffee liqueur distillery here in Oz called Mr. Black. And she went ham buying a shitload of that at the start of our lockdown. We've still got some. But like I like cold brew my own coffee every third day. I cold brew my own coffee. We've got bean subscription that we rotate through between a couple of different bean roasters, and you get a different flavor profile out of each one of those. So you turn that into a nice coffee martini, and you are fucking bouncing off the walls. It is hot shit, I tell you what. Otherwise, it's beers for me. I did have a beer subscription for 2 months, thanks to LJM putting me onto it. It was Stone and Wood. I was only going to do it for 1 month, but they had a really they had a beer my wife wanted to try. I think it was like a sour. She loves sours. So yeah, did that. And otherwise, the other thing during lockdown, while we were in lockdown here, um, there's a brewery, a beer brewery, right around the corner from us, and so we gave them a lot of custom just to sort of support them through the lockdown because they took it all very seriously, um, but were very rad to us and got us a table whenever numbers would allow. Even if we didn't have the necessary reservation, they'd still find us a table. That was a cash on. So yeah, they always found us a fucking somewhere to drink and looked after us. So we tried to look after them during lockdown because it must have been tough. It must have been tough for loads of people and loads of businesses around the place. So yeah, we just what little we could by drinking from them, and yeah. So good question. I hadn't thought about that. Obviously, whiskey, shitloads of whiskey. Old fashions, eh? What, like you make them yourself, or you got like a pre-mold? Because right, okay, yeah. Okay, orange zest. Yeah, nice. Cool. Good question, Nick. Good stuff. That would be the podcast. That's all our questions. Yep. Awesome. We're seeing if people are going to play some Valheim. And Morkai was talking shit about Battlefield 6. And he best watch his goddamn mouth, I reckon. Um, and we love you. We love all our listeners, but you the you the most. Um, uh, I yeah, check out my YouTube page, youtube.com/joeyjojo for a clip of Destruction All Stars, and I think I'll have a piece up on Hitman 3 before the end of the week. But editing the video has been complicated, so I've clapped so many of your fucking scores, mate. None of your scores have anything on me. Have you seen my latest fucking score in fucking Dubai, mate? 202,000. You got no fucking hope. You're a third behind at this point. How dare you fucking bring this up when you don't even come close? This is like you're that fucking chick on the sideline yelling at LeBron, and I'm fucking LeBron James in this situation, okay? Get 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 you out of the fucking stadium. Get out. You're not allowed back in. Unbelievable. That is basically what the Hawks did, right? They just let him back. Unbelievable. Anyway, Valheim, Steam demos. Steam demos and what? Oh, all right, I've got to check this out. I'm in. I can't wait. Thanks. Bye. Nice. I have to go piss and go have some lunch.